Hello, everyone. Back for today is Thursday, and we are back for a new season of Siesta Key. Yes. Siesta Key aired yesterday at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. So if you guys want to check out Siesta Key, check it out on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. So the show comes on Wednesday. I review it on Thursday. So I'm very excited because I really like Siesta Key. At first, when it premiered, I was kind of off about it because it reminded me of Laguna Beach and The Hills, and those were shows that I grew up watching back in the day in the early 2000s. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be another like rip off of Laguna Beach and, The Hills and everything like that. So I didn't watch it. But I watched it. I ended up watching it like a couple of months after it aired. And I really enjoy the show. Okay? But if you guys don't know what Siesta Key is, it's literally just like Laguna Beach and The Hills. It's literally just like that, but it's in Florida. There you go. Okay. I usually say it's this generation's Laguna Beach or The Hills. Juliet say that she is Lauren Conrad because you guys remember Lauren. If you guys watched Laguna Beach and The Hills, Lauren, she was the narrator for season 1 of Laguna Beach, and then she was the narrator throughout her time on The Hills. So Juliet, you can say, is like Lauren Conrad of the show. She narrates the show and everything like that. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen Siesta Key, it's on Paramount Plus. Get Paramount Plus, it's on there. But yeah, I'm very excited. I was looking forward to it. Season finale of season 3, when it premiered, I was like, oh my gosh. And then COVID happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we going to get a season 4? And then they announced season 4 last year. I want to say like early around last year, they announced there was going to be a season 4. So I'm happy and we're here. So if you guys want to check out Siesta Key, I reviewed season 3. So go back and watch season 3. But if you want to catch up on season 1, season 2, and season 3, go subscribe to Paramount Plus. All 3 seasons are there. So this is season 4. It premiered last night. Alright, episode 1, Let's Be Healthy and Get Drunk. They should have renamed the title Battle of the Swimwear. Because literally, that is all that they talked about in this episode, majority of it. And they're going to talk about it throughout the whole freaking season. So literally, the first episode should have been called Battle of the Swimwear. So Juliet recapped what happened last season. Of course, everybody in their relationships and all the drama that happened in season 3 of Siesta Key. New cast members. So, if you guys have noticed, Alex, he is no longer out on the show. He was removed from the show on the second half of season 3 because of racial allegations that were said about, that he said. So he is no longer on the show, but it's weird that his dad is still the executive producer on the show. But hey, get your money somehow, sir. But Alex isn't on the show. Jared isn't on the show, which upsets me because Jared was one of my favorites in season 2 and in season 3. So I'm mad he's not on there, but completely understand why he's not on there anymore. But I wish he would have been on here. But Jared isn't on the show. Who else isn't on the show? I think that's it. All like the updated characters. But we have a new cast member. Y'all, Siesta Key, the people of Siesta Key, people at MTV, they decided, we gonna move Amanda up to the main cast. So I said, thank you. Because Amanda is my favorite. She's been my favorite since season 1. That girl is a spitfire. She just likes to have fun, live life. And she tells it like it is. Amanda has no filter, okay? I love Amanda. So I'm so happy that she is now a main cast member on the show. So happy about that. So those were new cast changes and everything like that. But everybody else is still on the show. So let's get into it. Now, did y'all peep what the producers and the editors at MTV or for at Siesta Key did? Did y'all peep that they gave like an overview shot of Alex's house? I literally saw that. I'm like, wow, y'all really gonna show us Alex's house? But they did. They showed us Alex's house, and then they used the drone to go all the way over to where Sam lives at. So you guys know that Juliet is with Sam. She's still with Sam. She's in the tub, bubble bath, drinking some champagne, and we see Sam. He's doing laps in the pool, and what? This speech to text thing is just so weird. So okay, Juliet talks about how like she enjoys staying at Sam's place. They both have their own places, but she's usually there at his house all the time, and she enjoys spending time with him, and vice versa with Sam. He likes spending time with her. So basically she reminisce. She's like, so like around this time I need to go back to doing like okay. So like around this time, you know, I was staying with Kelsey, and then she talks about how her and Kelsey had to fall out, how their friendship just fell out in the beginning. That was her ride or die. Kelsey being there with Juliet when she was going through her thing with Alex, and I feel like my favorite scenes is when Chloe broke the news to Juliet that Alex and Alyssa were having a baby, and Kelsey was just, you know, giving Juliet that pep talk, you know, saying that you're gonna win, you're gonna find someone who cares about you. That is one of my favorite scenes, because around that time I was going through something as well with someone who is no longer in my life. I finally realized that the guy is nothing but an emotional manipulator. So I was going through it around that time, and that scene with Kelsey and Juliet really hit home for me. That is one of my favorite scenes with them. So she's talking about how Kelsey was there for her, but then things kind of went left when Juliet got like an opportunity to meet with like swimwear designers, meet with like production of swimwear companies and everything like that. Kelsey's getting a little jealous, and then also what really like stuck the nail in the coffin was when Kelsey had lunch with Mike and Sam and told Sam that, you know, watch your attentions with Juliet. She may not be with you for the right reasons. And then we had that final confrontation with both Kelsey and Juliet. And Kelsey saying, do you really love Sam? Do you really like him just for him? Or do you like him just because of his money? And, you know, that right there just kind of like ended their friendship. And here's my thing. Do I think Juliet is in love with Sam? It looks like it. It looks like she's head over heels in love with him, and he's in love with her, vice versa. But here's my thing. Don't keep saying every 10 seconds that he's a billionaire. Don't keep saying he's a billionaire, or, you know, his family comes from money. Stop saying that. Stop bringing it up that he's a millionaire, because if you keep bringing it up that he's a billionaire, then people are going to start raising questions. And that's what happened for me in season 3. She kept saying that he was a billionaire this, billionaire that. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop bringing it up that he's a billionaire. Let's be clear. Let's break it down. Okay. Your parents, okay, if your parents made this money, I don't care if it's millions, billions, or trillions, and then they have a child, they have multiple kids. You are born into wealth. Does that mean that you're a billionaire? No, because you would be on Forbes top billionaires and everything like that. He is not a billionaire. His family, his mom and dad, and his probably before them, are billionaires. He did not make the billions. He just comes from wealth. Okay, let's just say that. But he's not on a billionaire list. He's not like on billionaires, this, and this. Stop saying that, because he's not. Okay, so he just comes from money. Okay, but he's not. Sam is not a billionaire. He is not. He is not the one who. No, he's not. Let's just be very clear about that. Okay. So they're talking about all that situation. And Sam looks like he really does not care about. Every time Juliet brings up mess, he really just looks so uninterested because he really doesn't want to hear about it, and I wouldn't want to hear about it either. And then we hear that Juliet's talking about the bathing suit line. She was like, it really doesn't look like she's really interested in doing bathing suits, you know. All she does, it just looks like she's just promoting merch. It doesn't even look like anything. It's like she's probably gonna have the most basic swimwear. Cut to Kelsey. Kelsey is she is looking at colors and fabrics for her swimwear and talk about how she started doing that. And then she was like, basically, I just want to get mine out first before Juliet does. And it's like, I literally said this when I announced that season 4 was going to premiere. I literally said that both Juliet and Kelsey have swimwears. It's going to be like the battle of the swimwear in season 4. Literally, that's all it is, because that's all they're talking about in like the first 20 minutes is this swimwear. And I'm already annoyed by it. Already annoyed. So we also talk about how Max and Kelsey met and everything like that. Okay. Alright, talk about that. Okay. So we see Brandon and his baby mother Delaney, because in the season 3 reunion, Brandon announced that he got a girl pregnant and he has a kid with her. So we see Delaney bring their son Quincy over, and he's such a cutie patootie, okay? And Brandon, he's still adjusting to his fatherhood thing. And let me tell you something. When you have a baby for the first time, everything is new. Everything is new. Okay, this is new to me. I never had to care for another human being, okay? If you have siblings or not, like, everything is new. Everything is new, okay? You just gotta roll with it, and you're gonna learn. That's it. That's all you gotta do. So, he's freaking out about that, and, you know, and it looked like with Delaney, I don't know about her. It looked like he is, it looked like he doesn't want anything else to do with this girl. She looked like she want more, because when he was talking about what was going on with him, Camilla, he was like, you know, I do want to keep talking to you. She was like, I want to keep having conversations with you. I like having conversations with you. He was like, I want to tell you things. Like, I want to tell you things. And like, she kept doing it. I'm like, what is with this editing? This editing seems so all over the place. Like, what is going on? I was so confused with that whole conversation. But to me, it looked like Delaney wants more than, you know, what her and Brandon have at the point. It looked like she wants to be more than a baby mama. It looked like she want to be his girlfriend, but Brandon doesn't look like he wants anything more to do with Delaney except just be co-parents. So we see Kelsey meeting up with Madison, and Madison is looking at wedding dresses. And we get a recap of Madison and Ish's relationship and how they met. You know, he was the producer on season 1, but then, you know, they reconnected and they started dating. And of course, there's this age gap, because it was talked about last season. They're still going to talk about it this season. But the age gap that is there, because she's in her 20s and he's in his late 40s. So that age gap that they have. And okay. So she was like, you know, I want this winter wonderland, you know, and I want to have it here because with my family. And then Kelsey was like, have you talked to anybody since you've been back? Madison was like, well, not really. I've seen what Chloe's doing and looked like she's doing on this wellness journey. And Kelsey's like, yeah, she's not really sold on Chloe's spiritual journey, and neither am I, because you have the reputation of being a mean girl. Chloe talks a lot of smack about other people, but she doesn't like it when it's done to her. She likes to throw rocks and hide her hand. That's what Chloe likes to do. And I don't like that. I don't like that. She likes to put her 2 cents in when it doesn't need to be put in. Okay? she's just such a negative person, negative energy. And I seen that in season 2. And you seen it in season 1. Okay, season 2 and season 3. She just has this negative energy. And I cannot be friends with someone like Chloe. So we cut to Chloe and she's doing her yoga meditation and Amanda's helping film it. So it's this lifestyle brand, and Chloe's saying that she no longer drinks and that she's vegan and she just wants this positive energy, positive vibes around her, and she just wants to, go away from people who aren't welcoming to her and her new spiritual journey. Girl, I don't fall for it, okay? So we see Joe and Juliet have lunch. Joe is basically like a mutual friend of Kelsey and Juliet. He was there in season 3 as like a friend of Robbie's, and what was that weirdo that liked Kelsey and then he became like stalker? What's his name? Don't forget his name. He wasn't that memorable. So Joe is having lunch with Juliet, and once again, nope, Juliet brings up Chloe. Joe was like, I do not care about that girl, okay? All she does is talk about people's relationships. She has nothing else better to do with her life. I don't want anything to do with her. And I said, Joe, completely agree. Then Juliet decides to bring up the bathing suits. She was like, so has Kelsey talked to you about the bathing suits? And he was like, yeah, I've seen what she's been doing. She's really dedicated to it. It's really funny because Kelsey, she really doesn't really have that many bathing suits. Like, she will always borrow my bathing suits. And it's like, I collect bathing suits. And this looks like it's going to be the most basic swimwear. And Joe's like, pause, hold up right there. Okay, let's not do that. So then she talks about Max. And she was saying, we all met Max one day. And our friends were trying to set him and I up together. And I'm like, girl, why? Why? Was it really that necessary to say that? I don't think it was necessary, Julia, for you to bring him up, okay? So, like I said, I'm really halfway through this episode and we're talking about bathing suits, and it's like so annoying. Like, please don't let this whole season be about the battle of the swimwear, and it basically is. But, Juliet literally said, like, it really upset her when Kelsey went and told Sam that he needs to watch out for Juliet. So it's like, that really hurt her feelings. And Joe agreed. He was like, yeah, I would be hurt if my best friend told my significant other, to watch out, for my intentions and everything like that. And I agree with Juliet. Kelsey shouldn't have done that. Kelsey should have just mind her business and let Sam figure it out on his own. But, like, Kelsey had to put her 2 cents in it. And so I completely agree with Juliet on that Kelsey shouldn't have said anything. Kelsey should have just minded her business and stayed out of Juliet's life. But it's like, this is just, we're just being catty at this point. And it's like, come on now. So Amanda is meeting up with Chloe to do voiceover for Chloe's project. And Amanda is dating Garrett's roommate, one of his roommates, Tate. And I had to do a double take. I'm like, is that the dude that was the referee for the Halloween episode? He was the referee for the Halloween episode last season. So she's dating him. And she's moved on from JJ because you guys remember her and JJ ended things. And the last thing that we saw in the season 3 finale was when Amanda opened her phone and she went on, I think, Instagram, and there was a picture of JJ and Kara together. So I doubt we're going to see JJ this season, but she's moved on from JJ and she looks happy with this guy Tate. And Chloe likes them together. And okay, Amanda talks about how she's doing like this movie premiere because it looks like Amanda is into like video production. I'm like, girl, same here. High five. But she's into like the filmmaking and everything like this. And so she's doing a premiere for a movie that she made about her father. And she's inviting everybody. And then cut to Garrett. Garrett is in a new relationship with this girl named McKenna. I think that's her name. And he's in love with her. They're in their own like little goo goo gaga puppy love type of stuff. And he was like, Amanda's having this event and I want you to come with me. And, I need to introduce you to crew. I need to introduce you to Juliet, Chloe, Brandon, Amanda, Madison, um, I'm like, Kelsey? He was like, yeah. And like, you guys remember how Garrett and Kelsey kind of left off and how that relationship ended. So yeah, him and his girlfriend, they're lovey-dovey. Next we see Brandon. Brandon and his mom are hanging out, and his mom was like, "You like tell me what happened with, Delaney and everything like that." So he was like, I was doing a concert, and then one thing led to another. I met this girl, we hooked up, and next thing I know, she texted me saying that she's pregnant. Now I blocked her number, and I ain't talked to her for those 8 months. Then the last thing I've heard of her is that when you told me that she was pregnant, and Quincy was already a month old, and I'm like, you are a dog, Brandon. Like, get out of here. Like, you are such a dog. Like, don't. Learn to take responsibility. You lay down. You decide to have unprotected sex. You decided to release yourself into her. This is what happens. Wear a condom. Wrap it up. So his mom brings up Camilla. She was like, "When was the last time you talked to Camilla?" And he was like, last time I talked to her was when I announced that I had a child, and like I've been calling her, I've been leaving messages, sending her flowers, but she hasn't responded. So Camilla just, and in the reunion, she looked really hurt when announced that Brandon was having a kid, and like that whole relationship. You step out and you have a kid with somebody else, that's like the ultimate. Like, so we see Amanda, and she's having a scene with her father, and she's talking about how she's excited for the movie to premiere, and you can see that her father is of older age, but they just have this great, relationship, and that scene was just so cute, him telling her that he's proud of her and everything that she's done. So that was cute. Madison and Madison goes sees Brandon. He's with Delaney and Quincy. And Madison, she talks about her relationship with Ish and how like everything is just stressful with social media and people saying these negative things, and then her family not really approving of the relationship, and she's just going through it. And Brandon was like, yeah, me being in the same boat with you is like having this kid. Social media can be a dark place, but you just gotta learn how to block it all out. And like, y'all don't listen to these freaking trolls. Like, they don't have nothing else better to do than to just be rude. They're mad at their lives, so they have to project their hate onto other people. It's like, leave these people alone. Leave those trolls alone. Just leave them alone. Stop paying them mind. Stop giving them ammunition. Just leave them be, okay? So it's the next day is Amanda's film premiere, and we see another one of Garrett's roommates. His name is Will, and he's a photographer, and everybody's showing up to the event. Kelsey comes and she sees Garrett, and I'm like, Garrett, you're not going to introduce Kelsey to McKenna, but then Kelsey, you're not going to introduce yourself to McKenna. It's like, that whole, it's just awkward, just very, very awkward. So Amanda's film starts, and everybody's watching it, everybody's in tears, everybody loves it. And basically it's just the relationship with her and her dad, and how her dad was in Vietnam, and he was in the Navy, I think the Navy or Air Force. He was in the military. And then just how much of a great relationship that they have together. And you could see that Madison was emotional about it, because being of older age, which is Amanda's father, she's thinking about, oh my gosh, her and Amanda have this moment. She's like, it's like with Ish, it's like, I'm scared because like we want to have children. It's like he's going to be older, and it's like, my parents don't really, care for him, neither my sisters or anybody else. And it's like these people on social media, they're like really cruel, and it's like really hard. It's like, I really do love them, but sometimes it really gets hard. And I'm like, okay, Madison, okay, Madison, okay. But then Amanda was like, Madison, like, my dad, he's up in age, alright, and it's like, his dream is to walk me down the aisle and me, having kids, but he might not be able to be there, and it's like, you're just gonna have to learn to accept it. And just expect a lot of tears from Madison talking about the age gap. Floribama on, y'all. Floribama. Lord. Okay, so the camera editing, the editing team likes to play tricks. And so we see Will and Camilla, they're talking. And the camera cuts to Brandon, and it seems to be like he's looking at Camilla, and I'm like, he probably not even looking at Camilla. That's editing for y'all. So Will was like, do you want to take a shot? And Camilla was like, yeah, let's take a shot. Okay, so next we see Joe have a conversation with Kelsey, and he brings up what him and Juliet had the conversation about the swimmer line, and then also bringing up the fact that Juliet saying that her and Max had a thing, and so that pissed Kelsey off. So Kelsey goes up to Juliet and she's like, can we have this conversation? So Joe told me that you were talking about my swimwear and everything like that. So, like, why would I be jealous of your swimwear? Like, I started mine for a year and you're just starting yours for a couple of months. So were you not talking about my swimwear? Were you not talking about that? But then were you also talking about Max? So you and Max were a thing. Let me know. Like, were you and Max a thing? And you can see in that whole scene, you can see Kelsey just checking Juliet. Like, did you say this? Did you say this? This, that, and that. And then Juliet is stumbling over her words and like kind of backtracking a little bit. I'm like, girl, what I love is that Kelsey held her own against Juliet in that scene, and just very proud of her for sticking up for herself. And Kelsey, she gets mad, she walks out, and so we're getting these back and forth scenes with Juliet and Kelsey. With Kelsey, Madison comes out and comforts her, and she was like, you know, how can I be friends with that? Like, with someone who just treats me like crap. It's like, why would you come for me and then come for my business and come for my relationship? Like, why would I ever be friends with someone like that? Like, why would I ever do that? Like, oh my god, like, oh my god. And then Madison was like, you know what? It sucks, but then it's like, this is what Juliet's doing. You did this when you told Sam about her relationship. So in Juliet's mind, it's like, let me do this to Kelsey and see how she likes it. And then we cut to Juliet, and she's telling she's telling Amanda and Chloe about the conversation that she had with Joe. And then Joe walks up, and Juliet was like, why did you tell Kelsey what we talked about? And then Joe was like, why wouldn't I tell her? And then Juliet was like, well, you didn't have to tell her and everything like that. And then Chloe decides to open up her big mouth and tries to put in her 2 cents. And Joe was like, pause. Why are you opening up your mouth? Why are you talking? And then Chloe's like, because I can. And Joe's like, you are so toxic. All you do is butt into Amanda's relationship. All you do is butt into Juliet's relationship. And Joe is clocking Chloe. And Chloe's like, Juliet, are you not going to defend me? Amanda, are you not going to defend me? Really? Wow. And she walks away. And then Juliet was like, you know what, Joe, I'm really upset with you, and it's like, now I know not to tell you anything, you know, deep. So it's like, I'm done with you. And she walks away. Y'all, that was the end of season 4, episode 1 of Siesta Key. Like I said, this show should have been named freaking Battle of the Swimwear. That's what this episode should have been named. And also, let me tell y'all this. I am so much better. I really feel like that I am so mature than people on the show. Because if I'm not friends with you, if we are no longer friends, and our friendship has ran its course, I am not going to talk about you. Your name will never come out of my mouth. I will not talk about you, and I will not think about you. You are non-existent to me. We're friends, and we're doing good. We've been friends for months or years, and then we have a falling out to where we're no longer friends anymore. Don't expect me to care about you. Don't expect my name to come out of your mouth. Don't expect me to think about you. Like, you are non-existent. You have no space in my brain anymore. Why are y'all still talking about each other? Y'all are friends, but you're still talking about each other. No. If you're not friends, why do you care what she's doing? Why do you care what she's doing? Why are you talking about her? Why is her name coming up in your mouth? Why is your name coming up in her mouth? Like, why? Why are y'all talking about each other? It's like, if you're not friends, don't talk about each other. Don't think about one another. Don't do anything. Just that act like that person doesn't exist and move on with your life, because you're stressing yourself out thinking about this person and talking about this person. Like, get over it. Move on. It is what it is. People come in your life for a season, whether it's for days, months. I'm busy. People come in your life for like freaking days, weeks, months, years. People come to your life for a season and for a reason. That's it. That's it, okay? People come in your life for this amount of time, and when that time is over, there is a reason why that person was in your life. So it's like, move on. Live your life and stop worrying about other people. If y'all not friends with the person, don't be friends with that person. Leave that crap alone. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But y'all, that was the season premiere of season 4 of Siesta Key. And I will see you guys later. Alright? Peace, love. Love you guys.